Chapter 1 of Bunny Brothers. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librivox.org. Recording by Lily. Bunny Brothers by Jacqueline Clayton. Chapter 1, Naughty Pinkie. Mrs. Bunny had laid the breakfast, and now she was very busy stirring the porridge over the fire to keep it from burning. Every now and then she stopped to listen. This was because she did not hear the children getting up, and she was afraid they would be late for school. It was quite half an hour since she had called them, and then little Pinkie had complained of a sore throat and said he did not feel well enough to get up. Mother Bunny paid little heed to this remark. He was often ailing on Monday morning, but usually got much better as soon as the others had started for school. You see, Pinkie was rather a lazy little thing, and he simply could not bear sitting on a hard bench all the morning and doing sums and dictation. So all his brothers and sisters were in a much higher class, although they were younger than he. All this was rather worrying for Mrs. Bunny, and whilst she stirred the porridge, she tried to think of a way to teach Pinkie to be a good boy. At last the kitchen door opened, and little Percy appeared. He was followed by Patty and Tatty, the twins, and Tiny Tim, the youngest of the family. They had all washed their faces nicely and smiled as they entered, knowing that their mother would be pleased with them. They took their places round the table, and Mrs. Bunny gave them each a little bowl of porridge. Then she said to Percy, "Why isn't Pinkie ready? It is the third time he has been late. He says his cough is too bad, and if he goes out in the cold wind, it will be the death of him," answered Percy. "Very well," said Mother. "He shall stop in bed today. Now get your satchels and run off to school directly you have finished, whilst I go and put a mustard plaster on Pinkie's chest." Mother then went out of the room carrying a large tin of mustard. At the door she turned to call back, "If you are good, you shall have plum pudding for dinner." "Oh, how lovely! Oh, how lovely!" cried all the children, clapping their hands. "We shall be very good, dear Mother." And they flew to the row of pegs where their hats and bags hung. Pinkie was lying in bed, picking the feathers out of his pillow, and then blowing them up to the ceiling. But when he heard his mother coming upstairs, he turned over and closed his eyes. As she came into the room, he groaned a little, and then coughed. "Perhaps I was too hard on him," she thought as she came up to the bed, and Pinkie coughed again. Then he opened his eyes and said in a feeble voice, "A little water, a little water, I am choking." His mother, now quite alarmed, ran to get some, and when Pinkie had taken a few drops, she told him to lie very still while she went to fetch Uncle Badger. Uncle Badger was a doctor, and none of the children liked him very much, because he used to pull their ears and give them nasty medicine. "I don't want Uncle Badger," moaned Pinkie. "He always makes me worse." But Mother was already on the landing and did not heed him. Pinkie hated medicine and gruel, which he knew he should be forced to take if Uncle Badger came. He thought Mother would have wrapped him up in a shawl and let him sit by the fire with his best toys, as she usually did when he had a cold. He wished now that he had not coughed quite so much. After picking some more feathers out of the pillow, he scratched a little paper off the wall. Then there seemed nothing left to do in bed, so he got out and wandered round the room and found it very dull. Suddenly he saw a large blue bottle fly crawling on the window. After that he spent quite a happy time trying to catch it, and indeed he was so busily engaged that he did not see Mother and Uncle Badger coming up the garden path. But they saw him, and Uncle Badger laughed and said, "Well, my dear, I'm afraid that young rogue of yours has been cheating you again. He doesn't appear to be very ill." Poor Mother was almost angry. "He really must be punished this time," she cried, and she and Uncle went into the parlor to arrange what was to be done. "I'm sure a good fright is the only way to break him off these tricks," said Uncle 5 minutes later as they went upstairs. Pinkie was curled up in bed again and looked most unhappy when they entered. He made his teeth chatter and complained of the cold in a sad voice. The doctor glanced at Mrs. Bunny and shook his head in a sorrowful manner. "This is very sad, he said, as he felt Pinkie's pulse.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?